Hello guys, welcome to part 4 of Naruto, Rebirth of the Yellow Flash. First of all, I wanna say that the part 4 is a bit messed up. It has an assault story in it mixed with. So if you are sensitive to stories of assault, then you should skip this part and watch part 5 when I release it. In part 5, I will give a short summary of what happened without all of that. So if you are sensitive, I am warning. This is a warning. You shouldn't watch this part, and the link to the original post will be in the description. So if you wanna read it, so you can read it. But it's a bit of sensitive matter. So if you are too sensitive to watch it, please don't watch it. Okay. That being said, let's get into the video. Time skip 1 year. It had been a whole year since Naruto began his training. During the year, he had gotten the leaf balancing exercise down completely and was halfway through the rock balance exercise. He had worked through the basic offensive kata of the Hime but taijutsu style and had managed to reach 2 tomoe of his Sharingan. He had reached the level courtesy of yet another serious attempt on his life, and for once in his life he was truly traumatized. Flashback no jutsu. He was walking down the streets after the sun had set and was going to his apartment while ignoring the glares they shot his way. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Naruto was pulled into an alley and he fell down on his back. Regaining his bearing, Naruto saw 3 people donning the leaf 4 headband protector and flak jacket surrounding his way out of the alley. Naruto's stomach dropped in dirt when they pulled out kunai knives at him, and their smiles were downright evil. He had severe shivers running down his spine in fright at the vulnerable situation he found himself in. Naruto got up and dashed through an opening, zipping his way down the alleyway while the 3 men followed hot on his tail. Naruto knew they could have catch him by now if they so desired, being trained shinobi and all. They were probably enjoying the thrill of the chase. They were giving him some time at the very least. Naruto tried to run even quicker when the man chuckled right behind him, apparently measured from his limp attempted at escaping them. Apparently amused from his lame attempt at escape amused them. Naruto suddenly came to an abrupt stop when he saw the alley come to an end. Naruto suddenly came to an abrupt stop when he saw the alley come to an end, and all he had ahead of him was a wall, a dead end. Naruto turned around just as the man turned around the corner and took a step back, then another when his back hit the wall. The shinobi began laughing at his miserable face when Naruto's back hit the wall, and his eyes misted over when unsheathed tears. A long tear rolled down his cheek when the man took out shurikens, not the practice one he was used to seeing, but the real deal. Without any hesitation or remorse, they chucked a volley of them towards him. 2 shuriken launched themselves in his right thigh and one in his left, another ones in each of his foursome, and a furious scream in agony torn through his throat, and Naruto fell down to his knees, weeping in pain while they laughed at his misery. How the mighty have fallen, one of them taunted. So, how does it feel to bear the pain that you inflicted on so many other human? QB We know that we can't kill you, or you will regain your strength and be free of your bonds, but we can turn you vessel and break you from the inside out. Don't worry, you will soon be numb from the pleasure we will inflict upon you. Why? Naruto drilling dizzily. Why do you people keep on doing this to me? What have I ever done to you? What did you do? You say QB? They sneered furiously. You killed so many of our villagers, and now you have the galls to ask what you did. And to top it all off, you have the guts to join the academy to regain your strength. We will make this a night to remember. As soon as those words were said, Naruto curled up into a ball and prepared himself for the pain he knew was coming. No one noticed his curial blue pool red blood eyes when they were beating, kicking, and stabbing him on all of his non-fatal points. Naruto didn't know how long it continued, for his body grew numb and his whimpers turned incoherent, all the while pleading if someone would save him. At the Hokage office, Hiruzen, having gone through a long council meeting, the point of which he still hadn't had trouble compromising, was annoyed at the beginning pointless headache for so long. They were arousing and asking pointless things of him that in his honest opinion were beyond ridiculous. However, he still had to go and complete all his pending paperwork that must have piled up on his desk in his absence. He sighed and ran a hand through his hair, and his back hit the length of his chair. He inked his brush and started scribbling away at the stack of folders. He must have been at it for hours since the sun was beginning to set in the horizon. He rose and realized tidily the thought of not being able to see Naruto for congratulating the boy on making the cut for the academy saddened him, but he promised himself that tomorrow at Ichiraku's he would treat the boy and listen to all his babble for the entire evening. Hiruzen had just about finished on his train of thought when Kakashi came startling in the door, an act that made Hiruzen grow a bit concerned. Mission complete, Hokage-sama. Kakashi sighed lazily. For future confirmations, Sarutobi. Further confirmation, Sarutobi. What mission is that, Kakashi? He questioned as if the masked Jonin had grown a second head. I don't remember assigning you any mission. Weren't you supposed to be watching over Naruto tonight? He asked with a hint of worry when Kakashi looked at him perplexed. But Hokage-sama, the elder sent to ambush, saying you were busy in a meeting. Hiruzen blinked, caught off guard. Plus, this mission required my immediate attention. They even told me that they had assigned someone else to watch over Naruto while I was away. Hiruzen gulped thoroughly. Kakashi, I never issued any mission for importance that might have needed of your special skill set today, he admitted with a dry throat. And as for the council meeting, it was a useless gathering of civilians that really had no point in me attending. What was this mission you were on anyways? He asked dismally. I was told to watch a significant part of the village all. There had been a possibility for a breach of security, but it was mostly like a fluke, as everything was fine according to the barrier team. Concerning concernedly, there was considering there was no point in me tending to the mission as well. Kakashi's was furthered Hiruzen's worries. Hiruzen and Kakashi's mind simultaneously began connecting the dots at the useless council meeting summoned by the elders and the civilian council. Kakashi's mission, absolutely no breach in security. The Anbu detail. Hiruzen stood up. Kakashi! His voice turned disappointed. Please tell me that you made sure someone was assigned to protect Naruto while you were gone, didn't you? He asked uncertainly. Kakashi merely shook his head and his long eye widened as he too finished connecting the dots. Hiruzen hurriedly Hiruzen took out his crystal ball and desperately tried to locate Naruto. A few moments later, the crystal all locked onto his signature and an image became clear. Hiruzen's blood ran cold. He stood up abruptly as three Anbu came in front of his desk and Kakashi stood by their side, all four looking ready for the kill. Hiruzen vanished in a tempest of flames. Everyone else followed suit and rushed in the same direction with only one thought in mind: let us make it in time. Meanwhile, in the alleyway, it must have been at least 4 hours since his torture began, and the beating was still going on. 4 hours. Naruto's body had fallen completely numb a while ago, and the numbness kept increasing as the pain was finally being too much for him bear. But Naruto was being forced to remain conscious since the attack being inflicted on him weren't allowing him to fall unconscious. The attackers were now getting pretty tired and annoyed as well. Hey, one of them had his heart and everything but not broken, like we were ordered to. What should we do? One of them asked as another one of them smirked. I have an idea, he suggested. After this, the QB will have a hard time staying sane. Must less become a threat to the village, he promised. The others too looked at him instantly as he started to tear apart the little blonde blood's cloth in tears. I'm gonna skip. Naruto cleared his eyes shut and worriedly waited for whatever pain was about to come. This was the sense Hiruzen, Kakashi, and the Anbu walked into. They all had their eyes widened at what the perpetrators were thinking of doing to the little boy. I mean, again, skip because I don't want to read that. Anbu, Hiruzen barked. The three Anbu behind him sniffed, ordered Hokage-sama. Oh yeah, the Hiruzen killed one of the three perpetrators, and two were left. Take these bastards to a wiki. Hiruzen killed one, and the three Anbus behind him captured the remaining two. And Hiruzen then said, "Take these bastards to Ibiki. Tell him everything that occupied in the alleyway, word for word, and tell him that he has a week to play with them as he sees fit. If you know what happened, there will be a link to the original post so that you can go and read it because it's too sensitive of a matter for me. So I'm not gonna read it because I like Naruto's character, and so I don't want to read that. And let's get started again. Especially tell Anko what they were about to do. I will talk to them later when they are done getting details out of them, and then I will plan their most painful execution personally and have them discarded in front of the whole shinobi forces before being sentenced, dismissed. He bowed, and Anbu took the two alive, whimpering and begging shinobi away. Kakashi burned the corpse right then and there, and both of them walked over to Naruto slowly and steadily so as not to alarm the frightened boy. So had tucked himself in a corner to get out of harm's way. He was curled up into a tiny ball, holding the two kunai knives he had pulled out of his own thighs, both of which had blood profusely profusely. He was shaking tremulously in fear, but he kept a little guard up. The thigh that the thing that surprised the thing that surprised Kakashi the most were Naruto's eyes. His usual deep blue coral purple, now red as two turmoils circled his right eye and a single on his left. Naruto barely managed to choke out some word. His body still trembling uncontrollably. "Don't come any closer," he warned them as he kept up his sharp hand pointing at Hiruzen tremblingly. Tears streamed down Hiruzen's own cheek as he focused his attention on the terrified kid. The shock of his unsealed eyes was nothing to Hiruzen at the moment compared to the itchiness in in the frightened word he just heard. Hiruzen continued walking closer, slowly, with his hands up while Takashi held himself back, not wanting to scare the child even more than he already was. "It's alright, Naruto," Hiruzen called softly. "No one is going to hurt you anymore. It's me, your old man. Don't you remember me, Naruto-kun?" he asked smoothingly. Naruto cried even harder, his kunai still held up in front of him. "Please don't hurt me, Naruto Stephen. I will go and I will never come back. Just please don't hit me anymore. It hurts too much. Please leave me alone. I wanna die and go see my father the old man told me about. He watches over me from above. Please go. I will kill myself, I promise. Please don't hurt me anymore," he choked out. Involuntarily, tears flowed through the adults' faces at the hearing what the boy had just admitted. It became too much for Hiruzen's heart, seeing the amount of trauma Naruto was presently under. It was so much that he wasn't even recognizing him. Hiruzen moved like lightning when Naruto pulled the kunai to his throat and snatched it away in a single silk motion. The kunai was discarded aside, and Hiruzen wrapped his arms around the boy, who snuggled closely at first. Struggled profusely at first, but then hugged him back when Hiruzen's familiar welcoming scent hit his nose, and he cried in his chest. Hiruzen hushed the boy. "It's alright, Naruto. You are fine. I will take care of everything. You will be better in no time. Now calm down." He whimpered comfortably and smiled when the boy's cry trickled down and he finally fell unconscious for sheer exhaustion. Hiruzen stood up with the boy in his arms. Turning to Kakashi, he nodded and both vanished in a leaf swirl. Flashback no jutsu end. Naruto had to stay in the hospital for 2 weeks before he was allowed to leave. Hiruzen had been worried about the Ace incident would affect Naruto and his loyalty to the village. However, his fears were unfounded when Naruto told him that he wouldn't be able to look his father in the eyes if he gave up so easily. You said it yourself, old man. I have inherited the will of fire from my dad. I will do anything and everything in my power to protect those who he died protecting. I will carve my own path and make him proud. He finished with a foxy grin, showing that he was alright. However, he wasn't known as the professor for nothing. He immediately saw that Naruto had put on a mask and it would be very, very hard getting through to him. Damn you villagers, you have taken away the last bit of innocence from a child. As he thought that, he silently let out a few tears before looking up to the skies and thinking, I am sorry, Minato, I failed. After the innocent incident, Naruto had once again pushed himself into training and was now reading more advanced notes on the Sharingan and was practicing a few moves that came with it. He had worked through the basic of Shuriken Jutsu and had developed a good aim. As a well done gift, Hiruzen had gifted Naruto his first jutsu scroll. It was called the Shadow Shuriken Clone Jutsu. It caused a single projectile to be multiplied depending upon the chakra used. Needless to say, Naruto took it in liking a dry spoon to water. It took him a month to completely master the jutsu, and after that, he managed to drive three jutsu from it. He created the Shadow Kunai Clone Jutsu, the Giant Shuriken Jutsu, and finally the multiple Giant Shuriken Jutsu. Needless to say, Hiruzen was very impressed and even added the three jutsu he created under his name to the Konoha Jutsu library. They were ranked as C ranks. Naruto found Solar in ninjutsu, asked if he could learn any more jutsu, only to be put down by Hiruzen. He said he was only five, and the resilience he had right now was too good enough. Arsenal, he was only five, and the arsenal he had right now was good enough. Another thing happened was Naruto and Hiruzen decided to put a seal on Naruto's eyes that would allow him to use the Sharingan, but it would still show his eyes to be usual blue they were. Over the years, Naruto had developed a friendly relationship with the librarian who, after meeting the blonde several times, quickly saw that he was nowhere QB, but was a victim of his own circumstance. She spent time with him and taught him things like cooking, math, and manners. Needless to say, the blonde couldn't stop grinning when he knew he had another person out there who cared for him. For his second year of training, he had decided to master the basic defensive stance of the taijutsu style, added his jutsu in it to make it more effective, to master the rock balancing exercise, and also gain some ground in the tree walking exercise. Then, to improve his control on his Sharingan, using his father's note, which were quite detailed on the exercise needed to improve his control over his eyes. Halfway through the second year, Naruto had finally started getting his first piece of application. If he had appreciation, it happened during the kidnapping incident staged by Kumo. They had almost successfully kidnapped the heiress of the Hyuga clan, Hinata Hyuga, and the heiress to the Uchiha clan, Serui Uchiha, strongest of the five villages. My ass, their defenses is so lax they didn't even notice me entering their compound and kidnapping these brats, thought the Kumo Jonin as he made his way to the extraction point. It was about this moment that the sack he had he was holding started moving, and muffled crying could be heard from it, giving the sack a violent shake. He harshly whispered, "Quiet your whining, or I will kill you." The voice was reduced to whimpers. The Kumo Jonin was about to restart running when he was incidentally interrupted by 10 kunais landing right in front of him. He stopped and looked around to see a blond kid no older than 5 glaring down on him. "Get out of my way, kid. I may let you live if you leave without making any noise," sneered the Kumo Jonin. "Oh, I will leave. All right, but only after you drop the bag you are carrying," Naruto replied with a strong voice. "Oh well, I will just have to kill you," said the Kumo Jonin as he threw 4 kunais at Naruto. Naruto, following the projectiles with his Sharingan, used his own kunais to pray the projectiles before throwing a single kunai and going through his hand seals and shouting multiple shadow giant shuriken clone jutsu. The single projectile drive into 10 parts and enlarged into the big shuriken size. The Jonin's eyes widened when he saw the projectiles coming his way. He had no option but to jump in the air, which was exactly what Naruto wanted him to do. Following the Jonin, Naruto used both his Sharingans and natural flexibility to drive his strong offensive taijutsu technique, hitting a strong kick to the Jonin's temple. Losing his balance, he dropped the sack mid-air. Naruto, however, caught it before it reached the ground. He then quickly opened the top and saw 2 girls around his edge. Both had black hairs. Their eyes were shut and they were huddled against each other with tears running down their faces. Naruto quickly undid their blindings, permitting them to open their eyes to look at him. Naruto then said, "Run to the Hokage, tell him what happened. I will hold that guy off and give you enough time to escape." But both of the girls looked shocked at the boy just their age had managed to free them. One of the girls said, but what about you?" Turning to look at the Jonin, who was regaining his senses, Naruto said, "I will be fine. Just get the Hokage to get here as quickly as possible." Both the girls hesitantly nodded before running off to the Hokage office. The Jonin, after regaining his balance, sneered at Naruto and said, should have left when you had the chance, brat. Now I will take my time killing you." Saying that, he disappeared and appeared before Naruto and punched him hard in the stomach, causing Naruto to cough out blood. The Jonin didn't stop his assault and then kneed Naruto in the face, breaking his nose before kicking him into a tree. As soon as Naruto impacted the tree, his head started bleeding and he was about to lose his consciousness, but fought to stay awake as he knew that the girls were still endangered. Then the man looked at Naruto with a menacing glare and said, "So you are still awake, huh? This might be fun after all." He weaved through hand seal and a quick pace and shouted lightning style, "Howl of the Wolf Jutsu." As he said that, a 3-meter long wolf made of lightning escaped and rushed towards Naruto. Naruto closed his eyes, accepting the death. However, it was at this time his body glowed blue, and four blue chains erupted from his back and wrapped themselves around the wolf, disintegrating it. Naruto, on his last leg, was working on pure instinct and willpower, following his gut as the chains quickly wrapped themselves around the unsuspecting Jonin, hindering his movement. Naruto, using his last of his chakra, pummeled it pumped it into his good hand and leg and launched himself at the Jonin before hitting on the face as hard as he could, knocking the Jonin out. As soon as the Jonin fell down, the chains disintegrated themselves, and Naruto wounded him, waddled his way to a tree and layered into falling unconscious himself. This was the scene that the Hokage, the Hyuga clan head Hiyashi Hyuga, and the Uchiha clan head Fugaku Uchiha, along with the daughters, walked into. Anbu, take the kidnapper to Ibiki for question. Tell him to get the information out before the Raikage comes for his meeting, said Hiruzen, and the Anbu said before disappearing with the body. After this, Hiruzen rushed to Naruto and began checking his vitals. After feeling them to be stable, he sighed before lifting the boy up and moving to the group. Ano, is he alright? Asked the Hyuga clan heiress in a shy voice as she played with her fingers. Yes, he is fine. He is only unconscious. He should be fine after a few days at the hospital. Hiruzen replied in a kind tone. He was extremely proud of what his grandson had done with the wheel of fire as it indeed burning brightly in him. So will we be able to visit him when he wakes up? The Uchiha heiress asked as she fondled her t-shirt while looking at the ground. I think that can be arranged, don't you think? So Hiyashi asked Fugaku, to which the Hyuga clan head nodded and said, it will be possible. This boy has gained the favor of the Hyuga clan. We will pay for his entire recovery, announced Hiyashi, and the Uchiha clan will be responsible for his security during the days he will be at the hospital, announced Fugaku. Hiruzen nodded at that and left with Naruto taking him to the hospital. As the others left, Hiruzen thought, security and pay don't make me laugh. You only want to keep an eye on him. 3 days later, Naruto's eyes fluttered open and he saw the familiar ceiling of the hospital. He struggled before sitting up and stopped Hiruzen and spotted Hiruzen sitting on a chair. Hey, Gigi, he asked. He was broken off by a voice, violent cough while he was broken off by a violent cough which prompted Hiruzen to quickly make his way toward him and hand him a glass of water. After a long drink, he looked at Hiruzen and again and glared before saying, "Hey, Gigi." Hiruzen then stood up and said, don't you, hey, Gigi me, mister. What were you thinking when you confronted a Jonin? You could have gotten yourself killed. What do you have to say for yourself? Eh? He scolded. Naruto looked down, tears welling in his eyes, and in a low voice replied, I'm sorry, old man. Hiruzen's eyes snuffly at that, and he scooped Naruto in a hug. He let the boy cry it before saying, "What you did was foolish. On hand, I am foolish. On the other hand, I am slightly angered that you put yourself in danger. But on the other hand, I am impatiently immensely proud of you. You stood for your fellow villagers and become the light for them in the dark moment. You are a true carrier of the wheel of fire. I am proud of you." Naruto then looked up and smiled before asking, "Gigi, how long was I out? And are both of those girls okay? You were out for 3 days. Don't worry, I informed the academy for your absence. You can go there from tomorrow. And yes, both of them are fine. They visited you while you were out. Now get some sleep. You have school tomorrow, said Hiruzen. Alright, Gigi, good night. See you tomorrow, said Naruto as he rolled over and fall asleep. That's all for this video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And this part has been removed from the site I usually post. It has been uploaded into another site. I will link the uh, link to that site. Okay, and if you want to read it for yourself, the link will be in the description. And nothing else. This is all for the video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. The next part will be uploaded at the same time tomorrow, or I might release another part of Legacy. Who knows? I will see. Bye bye.